work in alliance with the alt-right movement or the neo-Nazi movement?
Absolutely not, because so for me, I run Patriot Prayer, and I'm Jesus-centered. I follow Jesus,
Okay.
and Jesus doesn't care about what your skin color is. He doesn't care about the labels the world puts on you. He cares about the way that He made you, the way that God made you. Okay, and Nazis are going to dislike someone because of their genetic background. That's called ignorance, and that's stupidity. And so I'm totally against that, and it's just another form of hate, which I'm against all forms of hate.
But did you vote for Trump?
I did vote for him, but I'm here to wait to see. I want to see results.
Okay.
The next people ask me, do I support him? Do I support him? I was like, well, I'll tell you in 2020, because I don't worship politicians. I want to see results. Okay, I want to see more jobs. I want to see lower taxes, less regulations. If the rich gets richer like it has in the last 20 years and the poor gets poorer, then I'm going to be pissed. I want to see a larger middle class. I want to see people rise up is what I want to see.
Okay. And what made you choose Trump over Hillary Clinton?
Because she's an elitist and she's an establishment figure. She's been in politics for way too long. The Clinton Foundation only gives out like 10% of what they bring in. The whole thing's a scheme. Okay, and I'm against corruption. I'm against establishment, just like I dislike John McCain. It's not about right or left. You know, it's the establishment in D.C. that's been running this country for way too long.
Okay, so people will then argue and will say that, well, there's evidence out there that black men are more likely to be brutalized at the hands of police than white men or Hispanic men. Well, I have to kind of throw it out there after, like I said, stepping out of my bubble. I found out that black men are just more likely to resist arrest, though, and have issues with authority. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of behavior that is, going to lead to police brutality. Like if I go out there and a cop stops me for whatever reason and I'm getting belligerent and then I decide to resist, then yeah, expect there to be some excessive force used against me regardless of what my color may be, though. And I just think that all of that goes back to the whole victimhood that just happens to plague the African American community. And I just think that if people in that community can just get rid of that victim complex, then we would see more and more of these cases dwindle over time.
Where do you think that victim complex comes from?
I think it comes a lot from parents, though, growing up, though. And
but where did they get it from? What is the root?
Okay, I think, honestly, that's kind of a complex, convoluted issue, so
do you think slavery might have something to do with it?
Okay, I think, now that you mentioned that, probably it does, because a lot of people are always talking about the legacy of slavery and how that may have a lot to do with the victimhood that you still see, nowadays. But if you think about it, it doesn't really make much sense to use the legacy of slavery as a justification for the victim complex, because even during slavery, the black family unit was really strong and cohesive. And even during the very beginning of the 20th century, black families even married at slightly higher rates than whites did. And there was no victimhood at all, though. And despite, surviving, generations of Jim Crow, there was still no victimhood. And even my great-grandfather, who ran like a successful body shop in the heart of the Jim Crow in Natchez, Mississippi, yeah, he was treated very poorly, though. And there was this one case where
walks around his hometown and is like, I'm the guy that killed Trayvon. Yeah, you know me. He's famous for murdering a black kid.
Yeah.
And he's walking around freely.
And when he was let off, were you still in Afghanistan?
I don't remember if I was. I think maybe I was back. I just remember, I know I saw.
Were you still in the military at that time?
So that's what I don't remember, because I was there and then I got out. I actually got back in like September, October of 2012. My contract was up in December. So I don't remember if he got off before then or if it was after, but I do remember just seeing what happened, and then I remember hearing the rhetoric behind it. Like, even if he hadn't got off on it yet, he already started to feel like he had, because the money was raised for him. He got to like just disappear, and like I'm seeing like comments on news websites, on Facebook, family members of mine.
Right.
defending George Zimmerman and going, this kid was a thug, finding like the worst pictures you can find of him on the internet to post those to show like this kid. It really is a justification to go, look at these pictures. Look at what he did. He deserved to die. Like the world needed him gone. Like George Zimmerman did us a favor. And it was like, no, because I was that kid.
Yeah.
A part of the reason I left to go to the military is because I wasn't on a very good path.
Right.
A lot of my cousins know.
Okay.
But I also know how I did once I was given an opportunity. I also know how well I did once I was taken out of that environment.
Right.
It's not the person, it's the environment.
Right.
If you take somebody and put them in this environment where they have to defend themselves all the time, where they have to be more aggressive, to where their interactions with adults and with police and authority figures is always negative, they're always going to come off more aggressive and be like what? Why are you following me?
Right.
It's not because he was a bad kid. It's because you had somebody following him, harassing him. This dude had a gun.
Yeah.
So, like, even if they did get into a fight, so he didn't deserve to die.
Right.
Okay, take him to jail for fighting. Take him to jail for fighting. And also for carrying a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Dead, free.
Yeah.
Lots more money. I'm not fighting for that.